Welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, a platform where we have invited Spirit to share messages, healings, and transmissions with all of us. May this energetic experience help us to expand our awareness and to deepen the relationship we have with our higher self, our spiritual team, and with Source, however we define them. Thank you for being here and for taking part in this amazing journey. Welcome to another episode of the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit. My name is Daniel Martinez Stahl, and we are on the beginning of day 4. Day 4 for me is always very bittersweet. I talk about this all the time. We've had amazing conversations, some really nice feedback from you guys. So thank you for letting us know. It's been really wonderful being here with you guys. And so as we kick off the start of day 4, we have Kate Woodley, and Kate works with Care Herring. What's her last
Haywood.
name?
That's
Haywood.
right.
I was going to say Harrington, but I was like, that's not right.
Too many
Haywood,
names, too many guests.
Right? Names and I don't get along, so I always look at the little names underneath people's faces to remember who they are. But so Kate and Care work together very closely, as Care mentioned in her session. And so I would love to kind of turn this over to you, let you introduce yourself, say whatever you would like about yourself and your relationship with Care, if you like, and when you're ready,
Absolutely.
go from
Yeah. I first want to say it's an honor to be here. It's always a really nice gathering of light workers. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kate Woodley. I'm a channeler. I'm an energy clearer and a channeling teacher with ascensioncalling.com. I've been doing this for a number of years, and every day I learn something new. So I am definitely here in service to other people, but I also benefit from the learnings that comes through in all of the channeling. So Care Haywood and I, who's a wonderful energy worker, we work together at Ascension Calling. And what we do is we really just help people raise their consciousness. We help them connect to who and what they are at an essential level. There's a lot of healing work, a lot of clearing work. And for the clients that work with me, I like to provide guidance. So when I connect with clients, I always connect with my being. So I have, I'm really blessed to connect with a beautiful myriad of beings. I call them my spiritual entourage. And whenever I connect with a client, I always ask my beings and my higher self to connect with the client, to tune into them at an essential level, connect with their beings, their guides, their soul family, their spiritual entourage. And I ask that they all work together. And I always set the intention that they all work together to bring through whatever guidance, insight, messages that that person needs to know in that moment. So usually what happens, it's a really big crowd, spiritually speaking. Sometimes the room is full. And what I always enjoy about connecting with all the beings is that when I connect with the client, I always sense the excitement, the passion, and the energy that that client's entourage brings through. So they're always really, really excited to have an opportunity to speak through me to you, to share information. And sometimes I get this feeling that they're kind of rolling up their sleeves and, here we go. There's lots to share, lots to get at. And the insight, it just pours, and it's always what people need to know, feel, and hear in their heart at an essential level. So oftentimes it hinges on helping someone understand their life purpose and their life path. And that seems to be, I would say, a really blossoming theme, because so many people are either awakening or they have awakened. And what happens with that is that there's this calling to understand, why am I here? What purpose am I meant to serve? What abilities am I meant to leverage? What do I do with that? And how can I help people? So the beings that I work with are really good at tuning into, different star seeds and light workers and saying, hey, you're here to learn this lesson. You're here to clear out some of these patterns, and you're here to help people in a variety of ways. So what I've been seeing is this beautiful emergence or a reemergence of teachers, of guides, of healers. Every once in a while, I get to see kind of these ascended masters, these beings that have come back down into the earthly realm to teach, to be of service, to shine their light. And everyone that I connect with, I have an opportunity to see into their essence. And I wish that everyone could see what I see, because when I'm in state, of course, my third eye is wide open, my crown chakra is wide open, but I get to see people's essence. I get to see who and what they are, regardless of age, gender, race, nationality, what have you. And everyone's light is beautiful. Everyone's light is a little bit unique. Everyone brings a different energetic signature. Everyone has their frequency. Everyone is expanding and evolving in their own way. But if everyone could see each other at an essential level, I really do believe that the world would be a better place, because we would come to see what truly matters and what's really, really important. So I've been lucky to see the light in all these people, and to see how their energy dances and blends with the energies of everyone around them. And there's a lot of learning in that. Sometimes people come through and they may have a challenge with a certain person in their life, or they might be experiencing a hurdle at work. And the beings are really good at pinpointing that energy, particularly not necessarily where it sits within their energetic core, but also where it sits within their chakras, because my beings really enjoy working at the chakra level. And they're quite good at picking up on any what they would call lower frequency energies or denser energies, which may represent as anger or rejection or any kind of hurt. And they can pinpoint where that is in the chakras. They'll explain to the client what's going on, what they need to know and understand about that. And then we, with their permission, we move to clear that. So I see all the energy, the good, the bad, and I wouldn't even say there is anything bad. Anything that doesn't feel like it's in the orbit of love really does come as a teacher. So all those emotions that any of you are struggling with, whether it's feeling rejection or frustration or disconnected, those emotions are teachers, as my beings like to say, and they're here to reveal to us what we need to work on, what we need to release and let go of as part of our evolution.
One of the things that took me a long time to really understand, not just hearing it and not even just understanding it intellectually, but truly understanding what it meant, is the idea that our feelings and emotions are here to function as a guidance system. And I love the description that Abraham Hicks, the way that he talks about it is that
I think we have a bad connection. We'll just give it a moment. There we
sorry,
go. We're back.
I
No
froze.
worries. It's the energy. I always blame the energy.
Yeah, I blame my computer.
Yeah.
So our emotions and our feelings are there as a guidance system, and the emotions that make us feel good let us know that we're aligned with our higher self.
That's right.
And the emotions that don't feel good are letting us know that we are falling into a place of resistance from our higher self. And
That's correct.
not to complicate things, just to keep it simple. And so when we are falling into a space that doesn't feel good, the way that I talk about it is we all have our fluctuations in our moods. And at any given moment, we're going to have slight variations of ups and downs from moment to moment. And when we pay attention to the slight uptick of our emotions, then that creates the new level to create that fluctuation. And then we get the next little thought that feels good, and then we get that up level. And then little by little, we're beginning to take little tiny steps upwards.
That's
And
right.
whether or not those steps are within seconds or within days or weeks, those steps also let us know that we have an influence on the quality of our life, a direct influence on the quality of our life.
That's exactly right. And what I like about what you said is that those emotions really do guide us in a direction. What I'd like to say, what's really important is that we're often taught that we kind of need to hide from the negative emotions and that we need to really gravitate towards the positive. And that's important. But those negative emotions are also there to reveal to us a layer that needs to be peeled away. So for example, sometimes, with people that I work with, I'll see that they might be very happy, they might be in a great place in their life, but there's this residual energy that my beings sometimes refer to it that's trying to emerge simply so that it could be acknowledged by the person. And from that point of acknowledgement, it can then be released. So sometimes we tend to, hide or try to ignore those negative teachers and those lessons thinking it'll just go away. But what I found is that those emotions that act as teachers, they'll find a way to teach you, whether it's in your personal life, whether it's at work, they'll find you wherever you are. And they're simply here to say, hey, there's still something about me that you need to learn and that you need to understand. So it's always very important to acknowledge that and then just set the intention to release it, to let it go. I often work with Archangel Michael, among many other beings. And he's wonderful. If ever you feel that you're not quite too clear on why you're feeling a certain way, you can always call upon him and just say, hey, Michael, can you help me out with this and help clear it? And sometimes, especially when I close my eyes, I see and I envision the energy moving towards the divine light, and then I intend for it to just be transmuted. But it is important for us to understand all of our emotions and to be aware of it because, to your point, Daniel, they guide us. So my beings often tell people, when they ask, what should I do about this situation or what direction should I move in? My beings say, simply choose what resonates with you from a place of joy. It really is about following your heart, but by following your heart, it doesn't mean you're ignoring everything else. You're just choosing a better lens, but you're still very much aware. Your eyes are very open. Your eyes are still, and your heart is also very open to the full bandwidth of emotions that you're experiencing. Learn from it all, but choose what resonates with you. And whatever feels a little bit sticky or doesn't feel right, then you know that that's simply an opportunity for learning and for release.
There's something that I want to add to this, which is when we let something go, a lot of times over the last number of years, as I've spoken to people about this kind of work, they say to me, oh, denial is a bad thing. And I'm like, I'm not talking about denial. Denying a bad feeling is very different than allowing yourself to pay attention to another aspect of your experience that feels better.
That's right.
Two very different experiences. And our psychology, the way that we've been trained over, decades of societal pressures and societal teachings, is that if you don't think about it, then you're denying it. And that's not actually accurate. And I just want to bring that up because I'm sure that some people might have a question about that.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. So what I sometimes explain to people is that you can be aware of everything, but you have a choice as to what you want to focus on, where you want to put your energy. So that's what I was talking about when, move into life with open eyes, with an open heart, be aware of all the emotions, what they're telling you, what they're indicating to you. Once you have that clarity, then it's really easy to choose and to discern between what really is bringing you joy, where you want to put your focus, because as the saying goes, where your focus goes, the energy flows. And same thing to your earlier point, Daniel, what you resist persists. And that's what I'm talking about, those teachers, those emotions, those lessons. Until you learn the lesson, your life might feel a little bit like a rendition from the movie Groundhog Day. So for those of you who've seen Bill Murray in Groundhog Day, he constantly re-encounters the same challenges day in and day out until he finally gets it right, until he learns. Well, that's a lot like what emotions and patterns are for us. We'll keep revisiting them, we'll keep re-experiencing them until we become aware of what it is that we want to let go of. And it's really interesting because a lot of us have patterns that we're aware of, and some of us have patterns that we don't understand because they're not even from this incarnation. We are a conglomerate of all of our experiences, of all of our incarnations, and it's all here within our cellular DNA, within our energetic core. And oftentimes when I connect with people through channeling, I can see energies that they have unknowingly and unwillingly carried into this life from a past life. And what's happening is that those past experiences that maybe they didn't fully hear or heal from or clear in a past life, they're carrying that with them. But this is the incarnation that I've seen for so many people where they're here to finally release, to let it go. And that can definitely take us into a discussion about, karma and the importance of forgiving. But we're really here to release and to let go experiences from this incarnation, our own experiences from past incarnations. And of equal importance, and what's very, very relevant to the topic today, is we're also here to transmute lots of the collective energy. So that's the whole gathering of human energy kind of put together in one frequency, if you will. And many light workers, I'm sure many people who are here and participating today are empathic, and they can tune into that energy. And sometimes without even being aware of it, they're transmuting it. Our light works outside of our realm of consciousness. I see people's light and the way that it dances with other people's energies. And your light is always at work. It is always transmuting. It's always reading. It's always receiving. It's always emanating some form of frequency. We just have to learn to discern and to recognize the fact that we are here and we're experiencing so much of what the collective is experiencing. So we're releasing a lot of our own energies, and we're also transmuting a lot of the collective energies. So sometimes those teachers, those emotions that come through, it could be a blend of our own emotions and energies, but it can also be amplified by anything that we've carried from our past incarnations, as well as the energy from people around us, whether we know them or not. You could go to a store and you can tune into the collective energy, or you could be at a party where the energy is really high and you can feel energized. We are constantly tuning into and feeling everyone's energies. It flows, it dances, and we do it unknowingly and unconsciously much of the time.
So, getting back to the topic at hand, what would you like to talk about?
Yes. So one theme that my beings have been bringing up quite a bit is connecting to our universal birthrights. So I'll explain a little bit about that. By virtue of simply being, consciousness energy, which at an essential level is what we all are, when we are in our home resonance, our home vibration, that's a vibration that is very much like source energy, source love. When we're in that place, all the things that we want, whether it's joy, harmony, love, we are naturally imbued with that. We are naturally aligned with that. But through our human experience, through social conditioning, through our upbringing, through everything that we've learned or haven't learned, we have this belief that love is something that needs to be earned, that joy is something that needs to be worked at, that abundance, that wealth, that it's something that has to be etched away at, that we have to compete for. And that couldn't be further than the truth. By virtue of simply being, we always have within us access to all the love, all the joy, all the harmony, and all the abundance that is available within the universe. This whole idea that there's not enough, or that you have to fight for it, you have to earn it, or that maybe you're not worthy of it, that's social conditioning. What I've seen in my channeling work, especially in the channeling teachings that I do with people, is that I move them into a heart space and I help them raise their vibration through their heart chakra from a place of love. And once I see them kind of raise their vibration more on par with the vibration of their beings or their spiritual entourage, which truly dwell at a frequency of love, once they're in alignment with that frequency, the love pours in. The joy, the peace, the harmony pours in. They didn't have to fight for it. It wasn't anything that was earned. It simply is who and what we are at an essential level. It's what most of us, if not all of us, have experienced prior to this incarnation, between incarnations. It's our home frequency. And a lot of the beings that you may connect with, Daniel, that I connect with, they dwell in the frequency of love. So when we connect with them, we are infused with that love. It's radiating through us. It energizes us. And if we learn to connect with that on a day-to-day basis, we come to access that more organically, more naturally. And when we're in alignment with that place of joy, love, abundance, and harmony, through the law of manifestation, the law of attraction, we begin to pull that back into our reality. So joy, love, peace, abundance, they're not necessarily things that you need to seek out, search for, and build outside of yourself. They're access points. They're feelings that are inherently available to you abundantly and consistently, as long as you learn to align yourself to that source love and energy. That is up for it. It's available to everyone. It never stops. It's like a nonstop tap. You just have to learn to align yourself with that flow of energy.
One of the things that I struggle with in my own journey is recognizing all of this intellectually, but not feeling it, and not, for lack of a better way of saying it, not believing it. Because if I
That's right.
believed it, then I would feel it. And
That's right.
my own perceptual ideas of reality and my own perceptual ideas of limitations innocently get in my way. And for me, it's about learning how to get out of my own way and learning to let go of all of these perceptual limitations. And so I always talk about how I point myself in certain directions, and though I don't feel like I'm there yet, that's the direction that I'm pointing towards. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because everything that you said sounds wonderful, but I don't feel joy. I don't.
Right.
It's not an emotion that I associate with and resonate with. But what I do recognize is that I enjoy doing things. And so people have an idea of language and I've got my own idea of what joy represents, but joy is also what we experience when we enjoy doing things. That is an element of joy. And so
That's right.
all of these aspirations that we have of feeling wonderful and feeling this and feeling this, you can kind of dummy that down a little bit to a more kind of, day-to-day level, where we're not talking about, living in some cloud. We're talking about living our lives day to day, but just recognizing the moments that give us pleasure, the moments that give us joy, the moments where we appreciate and love things, even the smallest flower. I see birds flying by my window. If you see me looking sideways, it's because birds are flying by my window. And I love looking at them. And as I recognize the appreciation that I have for them, I fall into the space that you're talking about. I don't need to go very far. I don't
That's
need
right.
to think about how, oh, I don't live in love all the time. But that's not what we're talking about either. It's
No.
just being conscious of the small little tiny things that point in that direction are pointing in that direction in a huge way. It just doesn't appear that way.
That's right. And what I'd love to add, I love what you said, Daniel, because it's so important. We can't have this expectation that we're always going to be in a state of bliss. That's something that humanity is still evolving towards. So we all have to work at it. And I often joke and tell people, I'm not necessarily walking on the waters of universal wisdom. I'm still kind of wading through them along with everyone else. I've just kind of learned to identify what current I'm swimming in. And I've learned to kind of move my way towards the easier current. To your point, what I would recommend to people is, with regards to finding more love, finding more joy in their life, and connecting to those universal birthrights, start small. We have these really big, lofty goals and aspirations and expectations around what it means to be, in a place of love and joy. But sometimes, like you said, it's those small moments, but those are building blocks. So the more you become aware and express gratitude for those small things that brought you joy and made you feel love that day, that begins to expand you, and it's like a contagion that comes over you. So start small. Start with maybe 2 or 3 things every day that you notice made you feel loved, or an energy of love exchange that you maybe participated in, and something that brought you joy. And the more you focus on that, that's the law of attraction. You're going to attract more and more things into your purview of reality that bring you more joy. So it doesn't have to be a big, lofty aspiration that, again, you feel you have to build outside of yourself. It's just about appreciating those moments of joy, focusing on them, recognizing them, and you'll see how more and more starts to emerge from that point onwards. So, a lot of people will sometimes say, I woke up on the right side of the bed and everything went well that day. Well, that's because you shifted into a state of being where you were attracting those positive experiences. And, we've all probably experienced days where we woke up on the wrong side of the bed and we're focused on what isn't working well. And by virtue of that, we might be attracting more of that icky stuff. So it's really about being mindful, being present in the moment, and focusing on what brings you joy. It might be that the sun is shining and that's making you happy. Or to your point, Daniel, the birds are visiting you. You've got that avian energy all around you. What a gift. There's lots I could say about that. So start small, make it realistic, like lots of goals. It's just about focusing on what does make you happy. And eventually it becomes easier and easier to focus on the joy because you're retraining your mind to focus on the positive. Again, it's about choosing what you focus on, choosing where you put and give your energy and intentions.
And there's a couple of things that I want to add to this. I'll start with the first one, so I forgot the second one. Compassion is really, really important throughout this journey.
Yes.
Being forgiving of yourself and not judging yourself for, oh, here I am thinking negatively again, or here I am feeling crappy again. I should know better. I should know different. And you're kind of kicking yourself for not being in a place of joy, all of that stuff. That, again, is not what the invitation is from Spirit or from what we're talking about. It's being compassionate with yourself and recognizing that. And like Kate was saying, is to some degree, we can learn to utilize those situations where we don't feel good to remind us of how we can step back into our power, how we can learn to be our authentic selves more and more. And like I say, the other thing that I was going to say, I forgot. So if it comes back, I'll bring
come
it
back. It'll absolutely come back. Yeah. And that's a really good point, Daniel. I think that, we're all here to, we're all finding balance. It's okay if once in a while you may not feel that you're fully connected to your universal birthright, so to speak, but as long as on some level you are aware that they are always there and available for you, that you simply have to train yourself to shift your perspective, not to beat yourself up over anything that you might have focused on that may not serve you, because again, you learned from that. There's always learning in all experiences. But what you said about compassion is very, very important. I'll share with everyone a really powerful exercise that I've learned over the years that I sometimes use when I feel like I'm being hard on myself, or that I've shared with other people who might be self-critical, or they're maybe having struggles with someone else. And I always invite them to envision the inner child within them, envision themselves as a little baby, and imagine yourself holding yourself as a baby and just connecting with who and what you are and were as a child at an essential level, and feeling the love and compassion, because that vulnerable, innocent part of you that wants to be loved is still there. And a really easy way to connect is by envisioning yourself as a baby. And I'll invite people and maybe even challenge them to take this one step further. If there's someone in your life that maybe you're having a difficult time with, envision them as a baby and envision yourself holding them as a baby and see them as a vulnerable being and see what happens to the compassion within you. You come to understand that they, like you, are also an innocent being who's vulnerable, who needs and wants love, who is here in this very difficult earthly realm, beautiful, but difficult at the same time, and that we're all having experiences in many ways. We're all, trying to disconnect from these projections of fear that we've learned over the years and trying to connect back into that resonant love that we all carry within us. So the analogy of the baby is one that really helps people feel compassion towards something or someone that perhaps they weren't able to feel compassionate about. But more importantly, it also helps you connect to your inner compassion, because if you know how to love yourself, if you know how to be compassionate with yourself, it's so much easier to showcase that and be that way with everyone else. That becomes the energy that you bring. It's how you show up in the world, so to speak.
The other thing I wanted to bring up is that, again, it's about managing my expectations of the direction that I'm pointing myself in. Again, with the idea of being in a space of love or of joy all the time with regards to my emotional state. So some people will say that you can be in a place of joy even when you're suffering. And learning to do that is really, really tricky. For me, some people, it's a lot easier. But what I have found is that as I look in this direction more and more, it makes it much easier for me to be at peace regardless of my emotional state.
That's
So
right.
I'm at peace with whatever it is that I'm experiencing. I'm at ease with whatever it is that I'm experiencing more and more. Again, I'm not saying that I'm perfect in that way, but I have noticed a huge difference that when I get into these feelings of doubt or of frustration or of limitation, I'm more comfortable with myself knowing that that's going to pass, knowing that
That's
it's
right.
temporary, knowing that it isn't anything, that it doesn't say anything about me. It isn't who I am. It's just a temporary influx of energy that's going through me that I happen to be feeling and responding to and reacting to.
That's correct.
And so I have a much more peaceful acceptance of what I'm experiencing, which makes it easier for these things to pass through with less drama and trauma, like I like to say. Um, but being at peace is something that I've noticed in my journey in the last kind of 10 years now. One of the people that I worked with, one of my coaches, one point said, Daniel, I never see you really excited and happy. And I was like, well, that might not be in my cards, but I can tell you for sure that I'm at peace. And that for me is where it's at. It's like,
That's
do I
right.
want to be happy all the time? Well, I might, but if I'm not, that's okay too.
But if you're happy with being at peace, then maybe that's your home frequency.
Yeah.
Right. So it may look different for everyone. Some people may describe it as joy, others as love, others, as you said, as peace or harmony. And all of those emotions, they all exist as different layers within the spectrum or the frequency of love. So when I channel, I see the energies, and there's different levels, different frequencies, and every emotion has its own frequency. And so for you, perhaps harmony and peace is the frequency where your soul, your essence, feels the most at home. For someone else, it might be self-awareness. It might be love. It might be joy. So there's lots of different variations, different flavors, different lenses within the broader love frequency. It's the way I see it, and my visions really do help me understand notions. I'm a visual learner, probably like many of you. So sometimes the beings will just give me a flash and I instantly get it. It's like a aha. So what's being shown right now is, imagine a beautiful chocolate mousse cake, and imagine that that chocolate mousse cake is love. But within the cake, there are different layers, different densities. So there might be the thicker, rich icing, and then there might be kind of the cloudier, smoother, mousse filling. Well, at the end of the day, some people will resonate more with the mousse, others with the icing, but it's all part of the same love frequency. So there is no right or wrong. It's whatever works for you. And as long as you're moving in that direction, and as long as you're conscious of where you're putting your energy, what your thoughts are, your intentions, and that's something that we have to practice. We have these internal dialogues. Some are very conscious, some are very unconscious, but those dialogues really do dictate our experience. It all starts here, and from here, it is all projected outwards. The universe, the people around us, they are essentially mirroring what we are feeling and thinking and intending on the inner levels. We are creating our experience. And so we have to learn to step into being the masters of our experience. But this, again, it's so counterintuitive for so many of us, Daniel, because we have not been taught this. We've been taught the complete opposite. So when my beings tell someone, you don't need to work for love, you are love, it's there and accessible to you, they're surprised. They don't understand that. And I know how they feel, because I also went through those years of surprise, thinking I'm worthy of love. Okay. And I had to retrain my brain to come to a place of accepting that I am worthy of love, that we're all worthy of love. So we're unlearning a lot of what we were taught, and we're relearning what truly matters as far as universal law, as cosmic law, as what we are entitled to by virtue of simply being, forms of energy and consciousness. This is what we're gravitating back to. I like to say it's like we've orbited out of love and now we're orbiting back towards love. And that whole journey, that's a difficult journey, because as you orbit back towards pure love frequency, you have to shed some of those energies that you've picked up along the way. And again, this takes us back to those teachers, those emotions, those things within us that need to be healed. It's gradual. It's a process, and there will be easy times and there may be some difficult times, but you have to take it in stride. And to your point, as long as you remember that those negative emotions, they are temporary. They are your consciousness recognizing what the universe is trying to tell you, and moving past that, moving through that, learning to transmute it, learning to heal from it. That's the process of getting back into a place where you're orbiting in love. And that's what we're all doing. And we're all doing it at a different pace. We're all doing it in our different ways. There is no right or wrong way to evolve, as long as you feel that inherently you are evolving back to a place of love or joy, or for you, Daniel, peace or inner peace. That's okay. You're moving in the right direction.
And I want to emphasize a point that you made here about how we're all unique in our process and in our journey. As much as, and I've mentioned this a couple times in other sessions this season, as much as we're pointing people in a direction that has helped us, in the hope that you find something in what we're saying that resonates with you, for you to find your own answers. I know a lot of people, myself included, when I was learning, and still to some degree I do it now, I see someone and I say, oh, I want what they have. How did they do it? I want to do it their way. And channeling is an example, because I'll see people that channel and say, I can't do that. I don't do that. I want to do that. And I work with Renee and Anthony, who were speakers in season 1, who were hoping to come back for season 3, but it just didn't work out logistically for them. But I work with them a lot, and Yeshua and Mary Magdalene come through them primarily these days. And I remember asking Yeshua once, what can I do to to improve on my ability to channel. And what he said was, find your way.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And it's like, but I don't know how to do that. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because we talk about love, we talk about joy, we talk about peace of mind, we talk about all of these things as directions that we're pointing ourselves towards to improve the quality of our lives. But whatever that means for you is what's important. It's not the words that we're using. It's kind of finding, how does this resonate with you in your way, in your language, in your journey, in your path? Because
Yes.
that's where the beauty is. It's not our journey or our path. And it's not about emulating where we are or what we're doing, but it's about being inspired by someone and how that inspiration awakens something in you. It's not the other person that is teaching you. You're teaching yourself through your own insights, because something inside you goes, ooh, yeah. And when that happens, that was you, not them.
That's right. That's right. And so you just beautifully encapsulated I would say, Ascension 101 lesson. So consciousness evolution is about learning to be to be the master of your experience, not to take what someone else tells you to do, not to try to emulate what someone else is doing, but really to find that which drives and resonates within you from a place of joy and or love or peace. So it really is about disconnecting and detaching from all those expectations that either other people put on us or that we place on ourselves, and letting go of those expectations, letting go of what we think we need to do, what we are told is the right way, the better way, the best way, what have you. And it's really about learning what it is that drives us. And so again, it comes with a lot of letting go of who you thought you were, who you think you needed to be. And it's more about simply who you are and what you want to experience, what kind of being you want to be. And again, there's no right or wrong. It's very, very individual from one person to the next.
So I invite the people that are listening, feel free to ask questions, raise your hand, interact with us. Let us know if you've got a specific direction that you want us to go in. So invitation's always open.
And what I will say, while people are maybe formulating their questions, is just prior to connecting with you today, Daniel, as I always like to do, I always like to call in the beings and kind of, create a sacred space. What might be very interesting for people to know today, and I'll say it just in case the beings don't have an opportunity to say it, is that today I'm going to be channeling a very large collective, but it's kind of a gathering of some of my beings. But Daniel, there are many of your teachers who are here. There are many of the beings that you've called upon to help you with this beautiful summit of light. And there are also the higher selves and the beings of everyone here. So as I often do when I work either, in an event or with one-on-one clients, I always ask that my beings and their beings come together to bring through whatever information, insight, and messages the people need to know. So for anyone who's asking a question, I just want to let you know that you probably all have a spiritual representative or a teacher or a guide who is present. And once I'm in state, they're all going to speak through me in concert. Thankfully, it will just sound like one voice. It's not going to come through as a myriad of voices. But I wanted to share that because that's how the beings work. They really want to come through with the intention of bringing through the energy, the love, and the info that everyone needs. So they tend to customize who's present and what kind of messages and love flows through. So those of you who are here were probably called here on some level. I do believe that.
And one thing that I will add to that is that those of you that are here are not just the people that are here live, but those of you that are listening to this are also part of this, those of you that are here. And that's
right.
something that, again, took me a little while to kind of understand, because I'm listening to this recording a year down the road, 2 years down the road, and they can't be speaking about me. Yes, I am speaking exactly
Yes,
about you.
absolutely.
the beauty of working with spirit is that there's no time and space, and they know exactly who's going to be listening to this at which point. And so
Yeah.
their team is collaborating with us in creating this experience and creating this event for those that are here live, and also those that are going to be listening to it.
That's
And
exactly
even
right.
the clips at some point will be part of that as well. So it's all a very large collective.
Yes, and it's so beautifully orchestrated. And to your point, Daniel, and thank you for saying that, because yes, it's about who's here in the present moment. It's about who may listen in the future. But even for those who are listening now or who listen in the future, what I've often observed with a lot of channeling is that sometimes in the moment that you hear the message, you may get one message. But when you listen to the message again, ooh, some new information starts to come through, right? People are able to pick up on new and different energies. They're starting to read between the lines. So it's sometimes good to listen to these sessions again and see what additional information you might pick up from that.
Shirley would like to ask a question. So Shirley, feel free to unmute your mic and let me know if you want to come on video or not. It's up to you.
Hi, Shirley.
Hi there, Kate. I've heard you before through, I think, Peter Dennis.
Oh, yeah, Peter Dennis.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you for joining again.
Well, I think it was quite apropos because I have a wonderful dog, service dog, like dog that suddenly died
Oh,
on me last week,
I'm
and
so
I'm having
sorry.
a whole lot of trouble getting any joy back in right now. I'm a very joyful person. I'm pretty upbeat and stuff like that. I just like got this stuffing taken out of me. It was a beautiful, beautiful service dog. He wasn't trained as a service dog, but he just was.
Hmm.
And he got me through 5 years of really big health challenges in my family. My mom and my husband passed. And then left me a gift of 2 years of showing that my disabled son needs a dog.
Hmm.
So I'm now in the process of getting a service dog for my son, but I am heartbroken.
I'm so sorry about your loss, Shirley. I've had dogs, I have pets, and I know that we love them unconditionally, and that really is what they come here to teach us. They teach us unconditional love, sometimes in a way that we can't garner quite as easily through some of our human relationships. What is interesting, so in a lot of the channeling work that I've done, and you're not the first person to ask about a pet or an animal. What's interesting to know about animals is that they also, like the humans in your life, they come through for a reason, for a purpose. They come here to teach you. So I've seen a lot of pets and animals come into, I'll just say, their human friends' lives to help them through an illness, to help them through a major change in their life. And what's interesting is that sometimes when their purpose is complete, doesn't mean the love is complete. When the purpose is complete, when they've done their work, it's time for them to go home. So that's the difficult thing for us to accept. But on the upside, you can rest assured that this beautiful dog served its purpose. It taught you and showed you and allowed you to feel everything that it set out to do in this incarnation. And sometimes, we don't want to think about it right away, but sometimes with, those completions, as I like to call them, it really is the onset of a new cycle, a new beginning for you. But it's still very important for you just to allow yourself to feel that grief, allow it to come through. My beings, once told me, a few years ago, I grieved the loss of a very sweet cat, and that was very difficult for me. And they said, the more you empty yourself out of the grief today, the less there'll be left tomorrow. So just honor what you're feeling, allow yourself to go through that. I have seen pets in the channeling state every once in a while because they are energy. They are part of spirit love, just like us. They just have a very different experience. They have a different physical body, but they're still present with you. They're not far from you. They're essentially they're in a different dimension, but we obviously miss their physical presence. And there is also something to learn in that grief. And perhaps the lesson for you is about understanding that there is no separation. My beings they've said this a lot to people, that separation is the main illusion in our world. The feeling that if we're not with someone, that we're not energetically connected to them, that the love is not there. What I've seen when people pass on, and I'm not a medium, I connect with beings and with spirits, but every once in a while, animals and loved ones who've passed on have come through. It's kind of surprised me, but there they are as soon as I close my eyes. And what they say is, we're right here. We're not far. We still see you. We love you. We're still supporting you. We're still part of your support team. We just now have an opportunity to be here more holistically, to be here more spiritually present. So we have to, as humans, we have to disconnect from the feeling that they're gone, because they're not gone. They're just here in a different way. So if that offers you any comfort, I send that to you with love, and I wish you all the best as you grieve. I know it's very difficult, and as you know, it will get easier, but know that your beloved dog is still with you, very much so.
Well, thank you for that, because I do understand that, but I needed to hear it.
Sometimes we just need to be reminded, and it's hard when you're in that level of grief. It's hard to think of that, and it doesn't always immediately bring us comfort, but remember that, and in time it'll be much easier for you to hold on to.
I'll stop using the gone word, okay? But he was definitely a service dog. My mom declined and died, and my son went through more brain surgeries, and this dog got me through, and I knew it was over. And the day after he passed, I woke up with the divine timing,
Yeah.
so it was very clear. But thank
Yeah.
you for helping me warm my heart a little bit, because it's like in little pieces right now.
Yeah, and that might have been, a healer dog. I have a cat who's a healer cat.
He was a healer dog.
They
Okay.
all come with their own little missions, right?
Yeah.
So we have to honor that, and yeah, be grateful that you had a chance to receive all that healing from this beautiful dog.
I am. Thanks a lot, Kate.
Thank
That's what I
you.
needed today.
All the
So
best to you, hon.
Shirley, I'd like to add a couple things, if I may, if it's okay.
Please. Yeah.
When I was talking earlier about how I've heard that we can live in joy regardless of the experience that we're having, the example that was given by Spirit was actually grief. And they talked about how you can be in a place of joy even while you are experiencing grief.
Mhm.
And this is really hard for me to get my analytical head around, but I want to share it with you because it might resonate something with you. They talked about how in the place of grief, you can find ways to honor your loved one in ways that would have made them feel loved and appreciated. And in that process, you can experience joy while you are grieving. And so it's a beautiful blend of, again, being comfortable with the grief, being at peace with the grief, and almost utilizing the grief as a way for you to honor the power within yourself and the power of this amazing companion that for all intensive purposes is still with you. And maybe even they transition so that they can help you in different ways that they couldn't do in physical.
Yeah. I can get that too. Yeah, thank you very much. And I'm already doing lots of things to honor in my practice, all my life back, losing my dad years ago, and also my mom, my husband now. So I do all sorts of little things. So thank you. I'll find joy in that.
And the other thing is, be patient and kind to yourself. Give yourself time and space, and it's going to come and go. You're going to have your moments of ups and downs, and just be patient and compassionate with yourself through the process.
Well, Kate, I don't know whether you know Susan Swan James.
I have heard of her, and I may have listened to one of her channelings quite some time ago. I do know her. I know
She's
of
also
her.
a grief therapist. I've used her to deal with what I'd already dealt with. And I've reached out. I have a call with her at 4 today.
That's wonderful.
So,
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So thank you.
And one thing to remember, Shirley, when I tune into people's grief can be pervasive in one's field, but it's often anchored within the heart chakra, because the heart chakra is the energetic center whereby you give, receive, embrace, and accept love. And grief is one variation of love, but it's also filtered with other energies and emotions. But you might do very well in doing some heart chakra affirmations and meditations where you focus on just healing the heart. So the heart chakra is green. So, you know, green crystals, anything where you're affirming love might actually really help you release some of that grief. So see if that resonates with you, and ask your beings for a little bit of guidance to take you in the right direction for you.
Thanks, Kate.
Thank
Thanks
you.
very, very much. And thank you, Daniel, too, very much. Okay, somebody else?
Lots of love and light to you, Shirley. So, Kate, how would you feel about, and I say this with love, how would you feel about leaving us for a moment?
Oh, that would be great. You know, it's the beings, they get very excited coming through for events. And as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of beings here. They're here for this entire, you know, this collective of beautiful light workers. So I will say that there's an Arcturian flavor. So the Arcturians come with an immense energy of very pure love. When I connect with them, I just feel this sweet, innocent, pure love come through. And so I'm going to set the intention that as I channel these beings, that you all receive and open that love. And I know, Daniel, it's probably also going to be transmitted for you. I know Cara Haywood's on the call. A little shout out to my dear friend and wonderful energy healer, Cara Haywood. She's also going to be amplifying the energy of love. So I'll just invite everyone to be very open, all get into state. You know the drill, Daniel. You've probably worked with a lot of channelers that need a couple minutes. I also have a little bit of a ritual whereby I cleanse, clear, and protect the channeling connection. Usually during that time, I'm quiet. I go into a little bit of a meditative state. And then once the beings are here, they'll introduce themselves loud and clear, and we'll go from there.
Do you want me to stay in silence, or would you like me to kind of talk people through something if something inspires me while you're in your
whatever
process?
works for you in the crowd. I'm good.
Cool. So take your time.
Hello, our dear ones. We are here. We are the Arcturians, but we are also in the presence of many, many light beings. There are many teachers, and we will say that many of you have, we will say, sent forth your higher selves to join and accompany us. As such, we bring love. It is always an honor and a delight to connect with you and to have this opportunity to speak with you. For as you know, we are your brothers and your sisters of the light. We are not unlike you. We are simply perhaps from, as you would describe, a different level of consciousness, one that, as this one Kate has described, is a consciousness that is very much imbued with the frequency of love. And it is our desire today to allow this love to flow through this one and into each of you in a way that serves all of you, for you are all here with, we will say, different needs, different spiritual requirements, different questions perhaps. And we wish for you to know that we are customizing this level of energy in a way that will not only serve you and work and blend with you in this moment, but we are also setting the intention that it is also going to assist you as you move on in your journeys beyond this present moment. Know that your beings are always keen and eager to connect with you. And we understand that many of you are already in contact with your beings through many different means, through many different channels, but know that they are never far. They are in essence here and available. They are simply waiting for you to call upon them, to perhaps pose a question, whether it is one that you feel is immediately answered or not. We wish for you to know that your guides, your teachers, and your beings are always working with you and through you, and that their sole intention, their primary purpose is your evolution. It is your healing. It is to bring about a feeling of love and support within you. For we understand, our dear friends, that the realm that you dwell in at this time, it is wrought with love, yes, but it is also wrought with many energies, many, we would say, polarities that at times for you does not always feel like that of sheer love and joy. We are here to remind you that within each of you lies an essence that is in very many ways in vibration with the essence of pure love. This is who and what you each are, but you have simply on some levels, perhaps you have forgotten, and you are here on the journey to remember, to become reacquainted with your essence, to shift your core beliefs to a place where you understand that this is what, as we have said, you are entitled to. This is your natural and organic way of being. It is who and what you are at an essential level. We will say as well, our dear ones, that there is always the utmost amount of respect, awe, and admiration for all of you, for you are in many ways brave souls. For lack of a better word, you are souls that have chosen to venture back into this realm, not only to perhaps help your own evolution along, but also to be of service to those around you. You each have a purpose. You are all teachers in your own right. Whether you are here to teach yourselves, whether you are here to teach others, directly, indirectly, consciously, or unconsciously, you are all here to serve as mirrors to those souls with whom you dance and interact with, in the very same way that all of those souls are here as mirrors to reflect back to you the love and light that you are, as well as the lessons that you have each come into this incarnation to overcome, to master, to transmute, and to move past and back into this place of love. And so we are honored, our dear ones, to be with you. And we will say at this time that we are slowly encompassing this entire group, this gathering, whether it is now and or future participants. We are simply surrounding all of you with an energy of love. It is an energy of love that we hope uplifts you. And the visual that this one, Kate, is receiving is one of where you are all being cocooned in a place of sheer love. It is as if though you are being uplifted and suspended up and away from some of these lower frequencies that often tend to hold you down or hold you back or create a sense of dross. And we are here to temporarily uplift you, to free you, to release you from those lower vibrational energies. As such, we will say at this time that there are many beings who are connecting into each of you, who are tapping into each of you, and we will say that they are working with all of you at the heart chakra level, but there are many of you who at this time are also in need of, we would say, root or grounding chakra work. This is, of course, the root chakra, which for many of you is where you connect to the feeling of wanting emotional security, financial security, and we would even say all feelings, a feeling that your needs, your primal basic needs are met. Within the human collective, as you know, in these past few years, there has been an energy of uncertainty, an energy of fear. This tends to be harbored in and around the root chakra. And for many of you, it can be experienced as doubt, uncertainty, even different variations, experiences, or expressions of fear. It is our intent and desire for you to know that we are working to transmute and neutralize all of that fear and any of these energies that do not serve your highest and greatest good at this time. What we would invite you to do is simply to open yourselves up to these energies, to allow the beings to work within you and with you in a way that serves your highest and greatest good. This work will continue to unfold as we interact and connect with you. And to you, our dear one, Daniel, we will say that we are very grateful for the light that you bring to the world. You are not only a master connector in many ways, but you are a master at connecting different light workers, different levels of energies in order to bring them together. For as you know, when your light is combined and united with the light of those around you, it is far more powerful. Its light and brightness is exponential. And as such, you, Daniel, when you are connecting with all these other light workers, your combined light reaches into we will say the furthest reaches, areas of perhaps darkness that have until now not been reached. And so know and trust that your light is having a beautiful and miraculous impact, even far beyond what you are consciously aware of. And know that the ripple effect that you create through your work, through your intentions, this is perpetuated. It is perpetuated now through the cosmos, but as all energies, it extends, it expands, and it takes on a beautiful life and creation of its own. And so we thank you, our dear one, Daniel, for the work that you do and for being such a force of light in bringing so many light workers together. And when we speak of light workers, of course, we are speaking of you, of your guests, but as well as all of your participants. For you are all light workers. You all have a reason, a purpose, a mission. You are all generating love and healing for those around you. And know that through this gathering, by the very presence of your light together, this light is going to benefit, we will say, the globe. And we understand that in many of your minds, this may feel and seem like a tall order, but this is the true nature of light. And when your essence comes together in a place of love, what is created, sparked, and generated as a result is an immense tidal wave, for lack of a better word, of love that transmutes all energies that are not within the frequency of love. So by virtue of being participants, you are also, and we will say with equal measure, you are contributors. And with that, our dear one, we will invite any questions that you or any of our Lightworker friends may have at this time.
Thank you very much for your beautiful message and your support. If anybody of the listeners have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and I will relay them. One thing that I would love to get your perspective on, given that we're talking about our growth and our journey and our process a lot throughout this conversation, listening to the conversation that Kate and I had, is there something that you would like to add to that conversation that you feel we could benefit from, or that you would like to just contribute to?
Yes, there is much we could say about this, and we would say that the lesson of love is a very complex one within the human sphere, for you experience love in a variety of ways, and you also experience, each and every one of you have had moments where you have experienced the absence of love, and it is through the experience of perhaps not feeling or believing that you are in the presence of love that has motivated many of you to journey back to love. There is much to be learned even in the absence of love, but let us speak for a moment about this absence of love. There is the perception that there is an absence of love. This is very much something that is perceived through the human lens and experience. From our standpoint, where we dwell within the frequency of love, there is never the absence of love, but there is only the perception. There is only the belief that one is not in the presence of love. This is and has long been the human experience. There is, we would say, as this one has said, there is the illusion of separation. There is the illusion of being out of love and in love. And what we would invite all of you to do and to remember is that first and foremost, in order to feel love, in order to find your way back into the frequency of love, that the first step towards this is about embracing and mastering the art of self-love. And we would say at an energetic and foundational level, this lies within the ability to see and understand yourselves to be worthy. You are each and all sparks of light. You are equal sparks of light. You are all equally important. You all contribute equally. There is no spark of light that is better than you. You are all here in the capacity to learn and to bring about learning to each other. You are all equally valuable teachers and students, and you play both of these roles simultaneously and in tandem. What it is our desire for you to understand is that you must all come to love yourselves and embrace yourselves for all that you are, for all that you have been, and for all of your experiences. We will happily gravitate back to the analogy of this innocent child, this newborn child that is born in a place of love, that knows only love, that needs only love, that in many ways feels vulnerable, but that the love that this newborn child emanates is a pure love. And it is one that is here to teach and to remind those older humans within your experience what it means to be in the frequency of love. Many of you would agree that all newborns are worthy of love and understand that at an inherent level, you are all, in many ways, at an essential, those newborn children who are here to receive love, who are here to give love, who are here to grow in a place of love. You are not different than those newborn children. The only difference is that you have amassed many experiences, many emotions that perhaps you have learned to perceive, to understand what it is to be mindful, what it is to forgive, what it is to experience all the variations and flavors of love, or as we would say, the perception of the absence of love. But it is our desire that you come to recognize yourselves as truly inherently worthy, that this place of self-love, when you come to garner and glean the lesson of self-love, that this is when you begin to vibrate and resonate at a place of love that allows you to attract and invite more love into your life and into your experience. But it also teaches those around you what it is to love oneself. For when you love oneself, you are better apt at loving those around you. And when you are able to give this love, you position yourself in a place where you can in turn receive this love. For the energy of giving and receiving love is the same energy. You cannot give love and, we would say, not open yourself up to receiving it. Though this, we would say, has been A pattern, a trend for many light workers, many star seeds, many healers. There is a tendency to give and to give. And sometimes we and they forget to receive and to embrace and accept that love. This energy of love must flow in balance. And it is in this place of reciprocal, balanced love that you learn to raise your vibration and that you open yourself up to more opportunities for love, whether they are opportunities that blaze into your purview of existence through people, through events, through opportunities, experiences, and circumstances. When you, we would say, embrace yourself as a being of love, when you learn to love yourself, to see yourself as inherently innocent and worthy of love. This is when you learn to raise your vibration, and this is when you manifest in a field of love. This is when you manifest and mirror back to yourself experiences of love and joy. The process of self-love and self-acceptance and seeing yourself as worthy, we understand, as we have observed it within humanity, it is a challenging one, but it is a deeply important and, we would say, equally rewarding lesson. We would invite all of you to practice and engage in self-love. And this may simply commence as recognizing on a daily basis, perhaps 2 or 3 things about yourselves that you are grateful for. And these can be actions or service to others. They can be aspects of yourself. They can be even lessons that you have learned, moments that you have, we would say, blended in from a place of love and joy. Learn to recognize the love within yourself, how it emanates within you, how perhaps it is felt and received by those around you, and learn to grow in that, learn to focus upon that love and see how your lives are transformed. Again, this starts small, we would say. It is a journey towards and back to self-love and self-acceptance. But through this process, there is much that is healed, much that is released. And in turn, you open yourselves up untethered to all the love that the universe wishes to flow back into your reality. And so we would say, love yourself without attachment, without expectation. We would say, love yourself with compassion. See yourselves as these beautiful, loving newborn children that you are at an essential level, with much wisdom, of course, with much learning, but see how this truly transforms your experience day by day. And we would say bit by bit, for this too is a journey back towards love and source love.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. There's 2 questions that have come forward and they're related. The first one is where to focus our light as light workers. What is your guidance as contributors and participants?
This is an important question, and there is much that we can say, and we will take this back to the theme of balance. There is a beautiful analogy that this one, Kate, has often used with many of her loved ones, and it is the analogy or the metaphor of a lighthouse. As light workers, you all stand as lighthouses. You naturally and organically beam and shine your light out onto the human collective, onto Gaia, and throughout the cosmos, through all realms of consciousness and energy. When you are in a centered place, when you are centered in a place of love, when you are aligned with your higher self, when you feel that you have perhaps healed, let go of, and forgiven any energies, experiences, and emotions that do not serve you, your inner light, your core light shines like a very bright, strong lighthouse. When your light does not flicker, this means that you are centered. And as a light worker, when you are centered in yourself, the light the love, and the wisdom that you have to share with others is far stronger. When you feel that your light is flickering, remember that it is also flickering for all those around you. And so this is simply a message to you that it is time for you perhaps to recharge, replenish, and rejuvenate your light. For as light workers, we will say that we see that so many of you give, you pour so much energy and attention into helping all those around you. And this is your purpose, but it does not mean that you need to do this from a standpoint of depleting your own light and your own energetic stores. Remember, you are stronger when you are moving into life, when you are showing up and bringing love with you. There are times, our dear ones, when you will perhaps need to stand back and step back from all those around you temporarily, simply so that you can focus on your own healing, on your own well-being. And when you re-emerge back into the cosmos, your light is stronger, and there is far more, we would say, strength, presence, and quality to this light than when it is flickering. So be aware of when your light is charged and strong, and when it is perhaps flickering. And this may be an emotion, it may be fatigue, it may come to you, it may signal or be an alarm to you on many different inner levels. It is simply time for you to look inwards and see what it is within you that needs to be healed and restored. And from that standpoint, you will then reemerge, as we have said, as the tremendous light workers that you are. So our message today is about self-love and about balance, about learning to give and receive with equal flow. And many of you, we will say, you have much, much love in your hearts. You are here to emanate and radiate love, but you must remember that we would say, we would invite you to remain open to receiving and accepting that love. This comes with embracing all the flavors and variations of love, whether they are how and where you expect them to come from or not. For remember that the universe is, we would say, a diverse being that expresses love in many ways. If you simply remain open to receiving, you will be amazed at what comes your way. And we would also invite you to receive, to embrace, to accept, and to integrate all this into your beingness. This love that you are going to receive from the universe, it transmutes, it heals, it uplifts, and it recenters you. And so remember balance. Remember that the energy of giving and receiving love is at an underlying level the same energy. It is yours to give, but it is also yours to receive, our dear ones.
Thank you for that. And if I may add something to this, the question of where to focus our light as light workers, what I keep on hearing time and time again is to follow your interests, follow what you enjoy, lean into the energy that you feel inspired to pursue at that moment. And that might change from day to day or week to week or month to month. But as long as you're following your inspiration, that is the place where you're going to have the biggest impact in your own experience and in those around you.
Yes, that is correct. And what we would say is that light workers come with very, very diverse roles, that it is important for each of you not to necessarily model yourselves or take guidance from what the light workers around you are doing. But to your point, Daniel, it is important to know, trust, and understand what resonates within each of you from a place of joy. For your light is needed in different areas. We have seen many light workers work with Gaia. Many are here to perhaps heal the earth, to work with animals, and conversely, many are here to heal the collective, and others are here to work individually with individuals, to guide, to teach, to activate, and to heal in a variety of different ways. There is no one right way to do this. Everyone comes with their own energetic signature, with their own level of innate mastery. And it is simply about finding that, we would say, that approach, that modality that works for you, that brings you joy, that perhaps flows within you and from you seamlessly. That is the right approach for you. And we would say that this approach, like all energy, it is fluid, it expands, it grows. It is a building block for many, many future avenues that will be opened up to all of you, to all light workers who simply set the intention that they want to be of service, that they want to help. They will be guided. You must simply learn to tune in to that internal guidance and see what feels right. We will also take this opportunity to share a message about following one's intuition, instincts, and creative flair. There are many light workers who have had past lives as, we would say, a variety of different healers, different teachers, different guides, different activists in many, many different spheres, different realms, different timelines within your earthly realm. You all bring within you seeds of wisdom, talents, innate abilities that in many ways you have come here to reinvent, to access, to polish off, to dust off in order to be of service to those around you. Your technique, your approach may vary from one person to the next. What we see with many, we will say, sprouting healers, for example, is that sometimes they are called to move their body or to work with tools that perhaps others do not work with or that others do not move in. But this is their energetic way of healing, of perhaps opening up portals, of moving energy. You must learn to trust what feels right for each of you. There is much, yes, to be learned from your books, from your seminars, from your workshops, from oral tradition and culture. It is rich with wisdom, but you must remember that within each of you, you are far richer with wisdom and knowledge that is and has been amassed from all of your incarnations put together into this incarnation. You are all powerhouses with far more abilities and aptitudes than you are all aware of. And so allow that creative intuition to flow through each of you and see where it guides you. Enjoy the journey, our dear friends.
You started to touch into the answer of the next question, but I'm going to read it out nonetheless to see if there's anything else you would like to add. The question is, do you have any suggestions as we listen to so many light workers through their books, podcasts, and more? Do we try to do too much, which keeps us from just being?
We will say yes and no. First of all, as a light worker, as those of you who are awakened or in the process of awakening, what you will find is that your appetite for spiritual knowledge, wisdom, and information is going to be insatiable for a time. This is very much, we would say, part of the awakening and evolutionary process. It is about exposing yourself to much information. However, in the same breath, as we had implied earlier, you do not always need to be working. Your light does not always need to be on in order for you to be contributing. That there is something to be said about learning to be, about learning to tune into yourself, your own needs, whether they are needs to heal, a need to learn, a need to grow, a need to expand, a need to discover. You all have needs, and these needs will continue to arise within you. But perhaps it would be difficult for you to attune into your individual needs if you are so busy and distracted by everything and everyone around you. And so we would say that this energy will ebb and flow, that many of you will be called to hear other light workers as part of your growth. And when you are in an accelerated stage of your growth, as we have said, the need and the desire to learn, to be exposed to this information and wisdom will be insatiable. But there will come a time when you will feel at an inherent level that for now, perhaps you have what you need in order to propagate your own expansion from within. And this takes, we would say, much attunement, much awareness of what is happening within you on the inner levels. And it is within these, we would say, introspective times that you are learning to, we would say, bloom your innate abilities, whether it is an ability to be empathic, whether it is developing your clair abilities, whether you are learning to channel, whether you are dabbling in astral projection or astral traveling, that there are many, many abilities within you that need and merit your energy, your time, your focus, and your attention, for they are waiting to be polished and they are waiting to expand. This, we would say, for many of you is the second or third phase of your awakening. It is about learning to leverage your innate abilities for service to others, but as well as for service to yourselves. Again, it is this theme of balance.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for everything you have shared with us.
You are most welcome. And do you have any more questions?
Nothing that has been shared, and I'm just aware of the time. I look forward to chatting with you guys at a later date. Thank you for coming to play with us today. It's an honor to have you here.
It is an honor for us. And what we will say to all in closing is thank you for your light. Thank you for your curiosity. Thank you for being here, not here in this present moment, but here within this realm. You are all contributing and your light is being felt. And with that, we wish you all deep and endless love.
Lots of love to you all. Thank you very much. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. There are a lot of them. They felt very very powerful, and they really had the essence of teachers. It was almost like this collective voice that really wanted to come through. So I truly hope that you all felt that you're all still swimming in a place of love, that you're feeling the energy in whatever way serves you all.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I would love to give you an opportunity to talk about how people can engage with you and work with you and the special invitation that you put together for the group.
Absolutely. So, one big theme today was talking a little bit about energies, whether they're our own energies or other people's energies. So for those of you who go to Daniel's site, and if you go to my page today, you'll see the special offering, the special gift. There are two gifts. There is the Empath Survival Kit, which I will say was very largely engineered by Care Haywood. There's also some channeling contributions from me, where the beings talk a little bit about what it is to be an empath. And Care has also created some incredible videos about how to discern between your energy, other people's energies, how to manage that, how to clear your field, how to place a shield around you. This is all very important because the energies right now are very dense. There's a lot going on. So as light workers, a lot of people are feeling that. So I think this is a kit that would benefit everyone. For those of you who are interested in connecting with either myself or Care Haywood, you can also find us at ascensioncalling.com. I work with people in the channeling world. I help people channel. I also channel for them. And as part of the offering today, anyone who books a session through this summit will also get the the empath survival kit for free. So you can either get the kit on its own, or you can get the channeling combined with the kit. So I believe all of the information is on your site. Daniel, thank you so very much for inviting me to be a guest today. It's been an honor. I've loved dancing with you. I know many of your beings also came through me today, and that was a real honor for me.
Honor is mine as well. Thank you. And
Thank
so for
you.
those of you that are listening, one thing that I'll mention is, and I said this during CARE's interview as well, if you look at the top of CARE's offer and Kate's offer, it's going to look the same because they both start by describing the kit. The difference is going to be just below, where Kate will talk about her channeling work with you, or energy work with you, and then CARE is going to talk about her healing work with you. And you can also hire both to play off of each other, which is something they do beautifully. So anyway, and as always, for those of you that are listening to this after the fact, after the season is over, feel free to reach out to them. It's likely that they've got some special package going on anyway, because I will, of course, invite them to come back, and hopefully they'll continue playing with me. So there's going to be an ongoing process there. So just reach out to them and mention that you came across them through the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, and I'm sure they can work something out for you. So Kate, thank you so much for being here. It's an honor to have played with you and danced with you as well.
And you.
I look forward to playing with your team. Something that I want just going to add is, I want to emphasize the fact that the collective that works with us is so inclusive of everybody and anybody that is touching this work, have it be present now, or have it be in a future, have it be in written format, have it be in a clip in TikTok or in Instagram. The work that we do within ourselves is supported by such a large team, and it's all interrelated and interconnected.
Yes.
Just a little reminder that we're never alone.
That's right. That's right. We're never alone.
When I started practicing with my group of friends, which I talk about all the time, we kept on getting energies coming through that were saying, "Oh, I'm part of the collective that's here to help you guys develop." And we're like, "So you guys developed a team because of us to help us grow." And it was like, that's cool. So
it is really cool. Absolutely. And I felt that just before I connected with you today, Daniel. It's like, oh, there are a lot of beings here that I don't recognize, because I have, my collectives, my beings that I know their energy very well, but all these new beings and energies came through, and it became apparent, these are Daniel's people. These are, the beings that are associated and affiliated with everyone who's present today and anyone who will listen in the future. So yes, when we set an intention and we ask for help, and we bring a heart-centered intention such as you do with the summit, the help that comes through is abundant, and it is never ending. And with every stage of your work, there are always beings that come in to lend a certain area of expertise or the energy that is needed. So it's always flowing and growing. So very, very good point, Daniel. Thank you for emphasizing that.
We are never alone.
We are never alone. Remember that next time you're dancing. If you think you're dancing alone, they're with you. So
we're
have
never
fun.
Alone. So those of you that are going to be coming back, next episode is with Robin. He was part of season 1. And so we'll see you at the top of the hour. Kate, thank you again. Lots of love to you. Honor to have you join me and play with me, dance with me, as you said.
Yes.
And I will leave you all for now with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love.
Thank you. Blessings to everybody.
Thank you for being part of this incredible experience. We hope that this session has inspired a new level of understanding within you allowing you to expand more easily into the essence of your true self and become an even more powerful alchemist in your own life. We invite you to listen to the session again and again in order to go deeper each time and expand even more. Have it be via the replays or the unlimited access package. If you have enjoyed being part of this event, we invite you to tell your friends so that they can join us in the future. We are grateful that you are here, and we thank you for co-creating this experience with us. Until next time, we leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love.